15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy are boyfriend and girlfriend and they decide to have sex, and then the father gets angry, and that's my one problem with it.
Okay, so if someone wants to commit a crime, he or she is going to commit a crime.
The rule of law needs to exist. If there's a rule of law, why do we pay all our taxes? Because we know we'll fall in trouble tomorrow if we don't. Because they are effective about making sure that we do. So they're making sure and effective that anybody who commits a crime, rape, for example, will get punished. It'll be expedited, it'll go through the courts really fast. They won't commit that crime. You don't need to change the law, you need to implement the law. And I think it's a shortcut because what's dangerous is they might then what they need to do is train the police, sensitize them. You know, they have so much work to do. The guy in the Nirbhaya case was, as a 10-year-old, staying on the streets. There are a lot of kids like that out there. There are more rapists to come because the system has failed them. So I'm saying that reducing this law, let's not forget that there's a lot of reform, a lot of education that needs to be done, and the groundwork and infrastructure needs to be done. Otherwise, they're going to sit back and say, "Ab to humne law change kar diya," now they'll get scared. They're not going to get scared. It's not going to take care of the rapes. I don't know.
I think a lot of people will be deterred once they realize the consequence of this. I mean, like that case on Gumrah where this boy uploaded a video of him and his girlfriend and ended up ruining the lives of the girl, himself, his family, his brothers, sisters, her family, etc. So people just think it's fun, it's okay. If you realize that, listen, this is a crime, and if you do that crime, you're going to suffer severe penalties, not just legally, but socially, and there are huge consequences to this. People will stop and think 10 times before texting anonymous like that. Not that it doesn't happen, but the thing is, once people are aware of the severity of consequences, I'm sure a lot who might have done it won't do it, and there's no way of measuring that except common sense.
No, sir, but then why are there so many rapes still going on in our country?
You can't prevent rape, you can't prevent crime. It's a question of how much you diminish it
I need
and
to
how you punish it.
Well, I understand to be tried as an adult.
But I understand the Juvenile Act is going to be a blanket, okay, 16 is an adult. That's as I understand it, right?
No, there's going to be
not allowing space
It will go to Juvenile Justice Board.
It will first go to the board.
Yes.
It goes first to the board, and the board decides whether this 16-year-old has the capacity to understand the consequence of his actions, what was his intent, what are the circumstances, and in those circumstances recommends whether he should be tried as an adult or not.
But what happens in a case when, let's say, a 15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy are boyfriend and girlfriend and they decide to have sex, and then the father gets angry and then puts him up for rape? Then what happens?
Well, if you're 16, you should
girl
know...
is 15.
No, you see, misuse
That's
of
the age when you start.
wait. Misuse of the law is one thing. I mean, there are a lot of women claiming rape after having a relationship of 14 years and then being abandoned by their boyfriend.
That's what I mean.
That misuse of the law is another issue. The misuse of the law is a separate issue. What I'm saying is, but a 15-year-old boy, a girl, and a 16-year-old boy, and the father decides to take revenge, says this is rape. Well, 16-year-olds should know that now they are being treated as adults, and if they have sex with anybody beneath that age, and if it's reported, it will be categorized as rape under the new law. This is the same penalty that any 18-year-old faces. So I'm saying there's no difference today between the 16 and 18-year-olds, given the way society has changed.
Or maybe the board says that these two are not really capable of knowing what they're doing.
The board decides otherwise.
They should be treated as children. You know, maybe they're brought up in a small village with no schooling. They have no idea. Or it could be, you know, they've been living in a Bombay their whole lives. They know exactly what they're doing. They're exposed. And what Gumrah does, which is what I found very interesting about the show, that it really shows us that these are ordinary kids. Ordinary kids from good schools who could just be you and me or anyone else, and how crimes are manifesting in their lives, and how these crimes are having immense consequences, not just on their lives, but of those around them. And this is why I feel that Gumrah is such an interesting show. I mean, we really sort of bring up these elements that it can be anyone. It really could be just anyone.
The Juvenile Justice Board is set up as an intermediary mechanism precisely to determine cases like that, to see whether it's a heinous crime that's been committed with terrible intent and great damage, physical, mental, or whatever. They decide whether this is to be tried as an adult crime or not. And I hope that the judges of that Juvenile Justice Board will exercise their common sense and not see that the act is turned on its head. The importance of the act, I seriously believe, is not just punishment of people that commit terrible crimes who are 16 years old, but more importantly, sending out the knowledge to people of 16 years old that they are liable. If they do adult crimes, they must do adult time. But there's one thing in the law that I wish was changed, that if a juvenile between the ages of 16 and 18 commits that crime and is found guilty by the courts, he should not be lodged with common criminals in the justice system. He should be lodged in a juvenile home to serve his time, because if he's lodged in jails, he will be sexually abused himself, he will suffer, he will be mixing with criminals, he will have the worst influence on his life, and that is not part of the punishment that was envisaged for this boy or girl. That punishment should be done in juvenile homes. The time should be served there. And that amendment to the law I would like to see. But overall, I support this law completely.